In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Hello and greetings. This is Muhammad Suleiman Ahmadzai, here with a new session for you, my friends. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Try to guess what is our lesson for today. File Explorer. You can find File Explorer, as we said, in the Start menu or actually wherever it is located. Here in the Recent Files section, you can see it, or even in the Category F section. If I go to Category F, I can find File Explorer there. And if you want, you can pin it here so that it stays accessible. Well, it's also available here. Otherwise, by default, in all Windows versions, by default, meaning without us having pinned it ourselves, it's usually pinned here on the taskbar, meaning in any version of Windows you have, whether it's Windows 10 or 11, it's here. Although it's not necessary for it to be there 100%, we can right-click and choose Unpin. Well, by default, it's here. If it's not there, we can bring it back or not. If by chance we don't find it here or in the Start menu, and no one has pinned it here, it's very easy, we can just type it here. For example, if we type a couple of letters for File Explorer, we'll find it for you. As an application, when we right-click on File Explorer before opening it, it shows you a few options here. First, if we click on this File Explorer, it will open File Explorer for us accordingly. Now, when we right-click, as we said, we open it directly. This is unpin from taskbar, but we're not going to do that. It's better to leave it here because by default, it's here. What are these? Pin folders inside File Explorer itself. These 4 folders are pinned by default by the computer itself. They are pinned. If you want, you can eventually pin other folders here as well. Try to notice that when we open File Explorer itself, we see these folders. Desktop, Downloads, Documents, Pictures. So, if you see the pin icon, it means these are pinned. When you pin it here, in the end, it's right here. So try to remember it's called Quick Access. But try to note that these 4 are pinned. When it's pinned here, it also shows up here. Frequent Access, and it shows up here too. The same 4. Again, in the same way, we can pin other folders as well. So those same 4 pin folders are our standard folders, which we can open from anywhere if we want. These are what you see as recent folders, just like we have recent files. There's one called Recent Folders. Try if we want to pin any folder directly from here and move it up. Do you see the pin icon here? For example, let's say I have a drive or a folder, like this, I have a folder. I say pin this folder to the top. I click on it, pin to Quick Access. Here, it became one of the 4 pin sections. We're now inside this section ourselves. You can see here, it's pinned here too. And if you look over there, it's pinned there as well. But if we don't want it anymore, we right-click on it. We say, let's remove this one, unpin. So, directly from the recent section, we can pin it from here as well. We said these are called recent folders. Again, what are these called? They're called recent files. In the end, it shows the recent files as well, and it also shows the recent folders, although we can turn those off too, so it only shows one of them or doesn't show either of them. Alright, so in the end, we right-click. So these are our recent folders. The last folder we opened, it shows the 4 pin folders. Unpin and the File Explorer command. When we go into File Explorer, first we have the user interface, meaning the appearance of the program. In the user interface section, what do we call this top part? Try to remember. We call it the title bar. No matter what program you open, this top part is called the title bar or caption bar. The ribbon bar, which here is called the ribbon. File Explorer, although this title can change. For example, if you select this PC, you'll see its folder name appears here. You also see that this PC icon here, which is called the system icon, and it changes as well. You see right now which icon is being shown here, File Explorer. But when you select another folder, like this PC, this PC icon appears and its name also changes. If you select Downloads, it becomes the Downloads folder, and what happens to its icon changes. So in the end, this is called the title bar or the name bar, which shows us especially which folder we are currently in. But by default, when we open it, where is our cursor always located? Quick Access, which is the same section called File Explorer. Alright, after the title bar, this other section is called the control box. They're also called caption buttons. Control box caption buttons because this is also called the caption bar. That's why they're also called caption buttons. The control box has 3 buttons. Close, which closes the file for us. We can do the same thing in the file menu as well, right? Close. In previous versions, you could restore and maximize from here. Restore puts it in a state where the file is movable and also resizable. If we select maximize, our file will be in the maximize state. Minimize also puts our file in a minimized state. Programs that are minimized but still open, a blue line appears underneath them like this. This means they are currently minimized. They are open. They are minimized. Anything that's called a control box, we can perform these same actions with our keyboard as well, without using the mouse, for those who really like to work with shortcuts to work a bit faster. This is generally called the system menu, and this is called the system icon, which, as we said, can change. You click on the system icon. The same system menu opens up. These are the functions I mentioned to you earlier, like restore, minimize, maximize, move, and size. All these operations are available in the menu bar, right? We can also perform these operations with the mouse. For example, we have minimize, maximize, restore, and close. We can use them from there as well, but the whole point of bringing them there was so we could use shortcuts, because there aren't any shortcuts assigned to them. Try to first use shortcuts for a few functions. We did one for close. We did one for maximize. We did one for restore. So that's 4 functions. 3 functions. We did minimize. So that's 4 functions. This is move. Move is done. 5 functions. 5. This makes it 6 functions. So if we want to use these 6 functions with the keyboard, which is what's shown here, without a mouse, if we press Alt plus space, the window goes to restore. Alt plus space, and if we press Alt plus space plus X, it becomes maximize. If we press Alt plus space plus M and then use the arrow keys, the 4 arrows we have, we can move it. That's how move works. Alt plus space plus S does the resize function. Basically, if we want to do everything without a mouse, just using the keyboard, we use the shortcut Alt plus space plus S. Alt plus space plus N does the minimize function. Alt plus space plus N also brings Alt plus tab back to its normal state for us. Again, for example, we click Alt plus tab. When we press Alt plus tab, it shows us which application we want to switch to. For example, PowerPoint or File Explorer. We open it again. That means it goes from minimized back to the standard state. And to close it, let's use 2 shortcuts. One is Alt plus space plus C, and the other is Alt plus F4, although F4 doesn't work directly on some laptops. We also need to press the function key, Fn plus F4, but on a desktop, you just press it directly. So we either press F4 or Alt plus space plus C. So what does this do? This is the system icons, or the menu system. What do we call this section here? We know it as the quick access toolbar. That's what it's called here. The quick access toolbar is the small bar that, for example, has 6 functions. Although the number of functions here can increase or decrease, for now, it has 6 functions. Try to remember, if we want to move this bar below, this section is called the ribbon. If we want to place it below the ribbon, what do we say? Show below the ribbon. This will display it at the bottom of the ribbon. If I click on it again, show above the ribbon will display it above the ribbon again. This area is called the ribbon. We have something else here as well. So what do we call these in this section? They call them File tab, and these are called Home, Share, and View. These are called tabs. Tab means header, but in other programs we have menus. For example, in design programs or in some other software, they usually have menus. For example, I don't call these tabs, these are menus. For example, there's the project menu, the view menu, the search menu, the edit menu, the file menu. They call these menus, and these are called toolbars. But in Office programs and other Windows applications, Microsoft has generally taken a different approach and created tabs. Altogether, these are called tabs, meaning headers. From this section to the end, the whole thing is called the tab bar. The header bar. Alright, after tabs, what do we call these? They're called the ribbon. The ribbon is the area where, whenever you click on a tab, it displays the contents of that tab inside the ribbon, meaning it shows all its options. This section is called the ribbon. If you want, you can also collapse and expand the ribbon. That means you can open and close it. We click on this section, click to collapse, and to expand, right-click on it. It works. Here it says minimize the ribbon. So right-click on it. We turn off minimize the ribbon. You can see this action here, minimize the ribbon. Or what do we do with this? We turn it off. You see its name, they call it the ribbon. So we turn it off. There's also a shortcut for it, Control plus F1. But Control plus F1 doesn't work directly on a laptop. We press the Fn button, Control plus Fn button. What does F1 do? It brings up the ribbon help. Here we have something called the help button. When we click on it, F1 is also its shortcut. If we want to use the keyboard, and if we have internet, it opens help. It gives you additional information. Again, what we're currently working in is called the address bar here. The address bar's job is to let us navigate to an address inside a folder. The address shows the file, folder, drive, or anything that displays the path. In that case, I went to the C drive, then to the D drive. This PC, D drive, and here my phone, this tablet, and then I opened a folder called Animal and Pets. Try to notice that this address here shows exactly where we are. This PC, our D drive, and you should also pay attention to its caption. My phone, this tablet, it was a folder and it shows these things, meaning it shows exactly its path. This is its full address. If we want, we can copy this path. In some places, if we want, we can use it, and here in the list, when we click, we see a list of the things we've opened before. It shows their addresses. This is the refresh button, and this is the search button. For example, if you have a lot of folders, you can type, for instance, do or document or things you want to download or DOC for document. Basically, what does it do for us with the fields inside this folder? It searches for them, and then we click on enter. Okay, I clicked cancel. What do we have after this? What do we call this other section? It's called the navigation pane. This part here is called the navigation pane. We can also turn it off so it doesn't show. Navigation pane. The navigation pane here has its own sizing button. It also has a sizing form. We can resize it as needed. Inside the navigation pane here, we have links to several things. Quick Access is a folder that lets us make certain things more easily accessible. It creates a folder for us, and then it redirects inside that folder. Usually, when we're in File Explorer, the cursor is always inside this folder. Even though earlier, when it wasn't there, we had set it up before, we had told it here to be inside this PC. But by default, if we don't change it, what happens? It's always inside Quick Access. So, Quick Access has this feature, which is divided into two sections. One section is called Frequent Folders. Let's open it from here first so you can see that inside Frequent Folders, it shows the folders that are pinned or the folders you use most often, and there's another section called Recent Files, which displays the files you've opened most recently. We can also minimize these sections. There are exactly 5 folders among these, and among them, there are 5 files. Again, these 5 folders, which are actually here, whether it's 5 folders or 4 folders, it shows them both here and here, but as we said, we open these same folders. We right-click. In fact, it also shows it here. Alright, after this part, when we have a pointer, there's something called OneDrive. These two are the same. What exactly is OneDrive? If we want to have a virtual memory and a virtual space for ourselves, it's like right now, I can save files on the computer's hard disk. But let's say we want to have some virtual space on OneDrive on the internet so I can save that data there. Which also has an advantage, for example, even if your computer isn't accessible. For example, you go to Pakistan, open another computer, log into OneDrive, and your files are there just like they're on your local drive here. You can access those same files from there as well. So by logging in here with your Microsoft account, it gives you 15 gigabytes of virtual space on the internet. A virtual space where you can upload your data, and no matter which country you're in, you can access those files from anywhere. It's like having a D drive, so wherever my laptop needs to work, I can access it from anywhere. But when we have it there, it's only for the computer itself, and on any computer, if I log in and connect to the internet, my data will be with me there as well. This PC, well, this opens up the computer. I'll show you how this works for you separately later. Try to remember, this PC means for now you and I are learning about File Explorer. But when meaning whichever folder I select here, see, whatever I choose, the menus don't change at all. That is, Home, Share, View, these are all things in File Explorer, and they show up across all the menus. Only when we select this PC, you see something called Computer appears, and something called Drive Tool shows up, meaning its options become different. That's why we'll go over this PC separately again. We'll study it separately again because of this Computer tab and the tab called Drives Tool that it brings up. Otherwise, for now, whenever we click on any folder, with these options that we're currently learning in File Explorer, nothing changes. Alright, after this PC, we also have something called Network. Network means, for example, our computer and a few other computers are all connected together in one network. For instance, if I want to access my own computer from another computer, open a folder there, open a file, or do some work, we can also do that through the network. Well, for now, since we don't have any network set up and haven't connected any computers together, we can't do this practically, but that's basically its main function. You see the computer, but you're not connecting to the network. This connection is not meant for the internet. This connection is made through the cable that we use to connect. Alright, after these 5 things, what do we have next? We said we can enlarge the size of the navigation pane. In this section, whenever we select a folder, it shows its contents here in a larger view. The very bottom part of the section is called the status bar, which shows that we have 10 files available here. In the same folder we're in, if we select them, for example, in Drive D we have 8 folders. In Drive C we have 22 folders. So it also counts the folders for us. Another thing we have here is called View, meaning at the bottom there's a section called View, And this is what they say shows things as small or large. This mode is called small, and this mode is called large. Here are its shortcuts. Control-Shift-6, Control-Shift-4. 6 shows it as large icons, 4 shows it as small icons. When we right-click, it goes to what's called the context menu. We can also call it the property menu. Inside the property menu, it shows exactly all the functions we have here. All the functions that are here. That's because when you and I use a command, like for example, we copy something from here, or we copy something from here, or we delete something from here, or we delete something from here, or we rename something from here, or we rename something from here, or we moved something from here, for example, as a copy. We can do it this way too, so I'll show you from both places. Some options here may not be available there. For example, here you have set as background, meaning set this picture as the desktop background instead of this one. And we don't have this option here. That's why when we want to work, we'll also talk about the details for you. For now, this is called the property menu. And finally, dear friends, I ask that if you found the videos helpful, please support us and help the channel grow by liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. Hope to see you in the next sessions. Goodbye.